Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare
Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj, and thank you everyone for being here for Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. Today is Wednesday, August 9th, 2023, and we are reading in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 21, conversation between Manu and Kardama Muni. And tonight we're starting with text number 32. So much looking forward to hearing your questions and comments. So glad you could join us, Maharaj, from the holy land of Parsippany, New Jersey.
Thank you very much, Kendra Prabhu, and thank you to Amala Purana and Sandili. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Sahaham Swangsa Kalaya Twadviryena Mahamune Tava Kshetre Deva Hutyam Praneshe Tattva Sanghitam. O great sage, I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahuti, along with your 9 daughters, and I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles or categories. Purport. Herein, the word Shangsha Kalaya indicates that the Lord would appear as the son of Devahuti and Kardama Muni as Kapildev, the first propounder of the Sankhya philosophy, which is mentioned here as Tattva Sanghita. The Lord foretold to Kardama Muni that he would appear in his incarnation Kapildev and would propagate the philosophy of Sankhya. Sankhya philosophy is very well known in the world as propagated by another Kapildev, but that Sankhya philosophy is different from the Sankhya propounded by the Lord himself. There are 2 kinds of Sankhya philosophy. One is godless Sankhya philosophy, and the other is godly Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhya propagated by Kapildev, son of Devahuti, is godly philosophy. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Pradijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Shahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kam Shana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Lord has already told Kardamuni that he would get a very good wife, and from her have 9 daughters who would marry great sages. And now there will also be a son who will be Angsha Kalaya, portion of the Lord, and who will instruct her in Sankhya philosophy. The Prabhupada always distinguishes between the Sankhya philosophy of Lord Kapildev, the son of Devahuti, and the atheist Kapildev. Both are teaching Sankhya philosophy, and there are similarities, but ultimately one Sankhya is godless and the other is theistic. When this Srila Prabhupada gave lectures on the teachings of Lord Kapiladev and asked that they be put into a book, which of course they were, and Hayagriva Prabhu was the editor, but he didn't like the title Teachings of Lord Kapildev, the son of Devahuti. It was, what's the word, obscure, perhaps reminiscent of Son of Frankenstein, I think, in his mind. And so he wanted to leave that out. But Prabhupada declined to have it deleted. For him, it was essential to distinguish between the atheist Kapiladev and the incarnation of Krishna, Kapiladev. There are different manifestations of the Lord. He is one, but he has become many. He divides himself into 2 different expansions, one called Kala and the other Vibhinamsha. Ordinary living entities are called Vibhinamsha expansions, and the unlimited expansions of Vishnu Tattva, such as Vamana, Govinda, Narayan, Pradumna, Vasudeva, and Ananta, are called Swangsa Kala. Swangsa refers to a direct expansion, and Kala denotes an expansion from the expansion of the original Lord. Baldev is an expansion of Krishna, and from Baldev, the next expansion is Sankarshan. Thus, Sankarshan is Kala, but Baldev is Swangsa. There's no difference, however, among them. This is very nicely explained in the Brahma Samhita. Departure vihidashantaramabhupecha dipayate vritahetu samana dharma. With one candle, one may light a second candle, with a second, a third, and then a fourth, and in this way one can light up thousands of candles, and no candle is inferior to another in distributing light. Every candle has the full potential candle power, but there is still the distinction that one candle is the first, another the second, another the third, and another the fourth. Similarly, there's no difference between the immediate expansion of the Lord, Swamsa, and his secondary expansion, Kala. The Lord's names are considered in exactly the same way. Since the Lord is absolute, his name, his form, his pastimes, his paraphernalia, and his quality all have the same potency. In the absolute world, the name Krishna is the transcendental sound representation of the Lord. There's no difference, no potential difference between his quality, name, form, etc. If we chant the name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, that has as much potency as the Lord himself. I think we need just a moment to consider Srila Prabhupada's use of the word potential. Usually we think of potential as indicative of possibility. This young man has great potential. This child has great potential. So on. But Prabhupada really is using it as an adjective for to indicate potency. So when he says there's no potential difference between his quality, name, form, etc., means no difference in potency. The potency is the same. So potential in Prabhupada's usage generally means or indicates potency. No difference here in potency. There's no potential difference between the form of the Lord whom we worship and the form of the Lord in the temple. So again, no difference in potency, not possibility or anticipated difference. One should not think that one is worshiping a doll or a statue of the Lord, even if others consider it to be a statue, because there's not potential difference. One gets the same result by worshiping the statue of the Lord or the Lord himself. This is the science of Krishna consciousness. Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay. Yes.
I have one question. So, we usually worship Krishna always. So, let's say somebody is worshipping Pradyum or other avatar. Is that same?
Same. Someone's Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Krishna. Krishna appears as Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, Kurma, Nrsimha. So many different forms. Departure Devi Dashantaram Abhipeti. As a candle lights another candle, they're all the same. But one is the original candle, so Krishna is the original. But all of the incarnations of Krishna have the same potential, the same potency. So someone's more attracted to Ram, someone's more attracted to Krishna, someone's more attracted to Sringadev. That's all. Absolute. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Maitreyu vacha evam tam anupasyata bhagavan pratyagakshajaha jagama bindhu sadasa sarasvatya parishritat. Maitreya went on, thus having spoken to Karda Muni, the Lord, who reveals himself only when the senses are in Krishna consciousness, departed from that lake called Bindu Sarovara, which was encircled by the river Saraswati. Purport. One word in this verse is very significant. The Lord is stated here to be Pratyag Akshaja. He is imperceptible to material senses, but still he can be seen. This appears to be contradictory. We have material senses, but how can we see the Supreme Lord? He's called Adhokshaja, which means that he cannot be seen by the material senses. Akshaja means knowledge perceived by material senses. Because the Lord is not an object that can be understood by speculation with our material senses, he's called Ajita. He will conquer, but no one can conquer him. What does it mean then that still he can be seen? It is explained that no one can hear the transcendental name of Krishna, no one can understand his transcendental form, and no one can assimilate his transcendental pastimes. It is not possible. Then how is it possible that he can be seen and understood? When one is trained in devotional service and renders service unto him, gradually one's senses are purified of material contamination. When one's senses are thus purified, then one can see, one can understand, one can hear, and so on. The purification of the material senses and perception of the transcendental form, name, and quality of Krishna are combined together in one word, pratyag akshaja, which is used here. So pratyag means directly, akshaja, coming from the eyes, born of the eyes. That means perceived, especially seen. So the Lord was seen by Kardamuni, although the Lord is adhokshaja, inaccessible to the material senses. The senses of Kardamuni were fully engaged in the service of the Lord, and therefore with those very senses he was able to see the Lord. Atas Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grayam Indriye Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayameva Spuratyana. Shri Krishna's Namadi, his name, form, qualities, and so on, are not accessible to the gross senses, but Sevan Mukhehi Jivado, by the process of devotional service, beginning with the tongue, the Lord is accessible. He reveals himself. Swayameva Spurati. Spurati means he presents himself for direct experience. This is the kindness of the Lord. Praveen has cited a verse. I wanted to apologize to Mukesh. I think I jumped on you a little bit in the last class for citing verses that I didn't quite see how they fit, but I appreciate that the devotees here are selecting verses that add to our understanding. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja as se shutekshita pato nanu nata pungsam yad yadtiya ta urugaya vibhavayanti tat tadvapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Nice. How Krishna reveals himself to his devotees according to their desire to see him. Someone wants to see him as Ram, someone wants to see him as Nrsimha, Someone wants to see him as Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any other? Yes, Sakendra Prabhu.
Oh, thank you so much, Maharaj. Actually, Mukesh Prabhu had a question just above where we had posted the text.
This potency of Krishna is also there in devotion of his devotees. Yes, certainly the devotees are carrying the potency of the Lord. Devotees are carried to, empowered to carry the potency of the Lord. Krishna She Tomar, Krishna Dite, Pada, Tomara Shakati Ache. This is the power of the devotee. Tomara Shakati Ache. He has the power. Krishna belongs to the devotee. Krishna gives himself to his pure devotees. So Krishna She Tomar, Krishna Dite Pada. So Krishna has given himself to you. You can give him to me. This is the power of the devotee. Actually, Krishna doesn't give pure devotional service very easily, but the devotees are distributing Krishna consciousness. So much potency, so much mercy is available from the devotee of Krishna. Something else?
Yes, Maharaj. Actually, Prabhupada discusses what might be seen as a contradiction and asks a question in the purport. And how is it possible that he can be seen and understood? When I heard you read that, I was thinking how the tendency is so strong in material nature for us to want to depersonalize everything so that we can control things or think that we can control them. That's how we do it. We depersonalize things, in Prabhupada's words, so then we can lord it over. But when you're dealing with Krishna, who's a person, or anyone who's a person, you won't get to know that person unless they let themselves, let you get to know them. They can brush you off and depending on how you're approaching them. But it seems fairly straightforward from that point of view. When we see that the absolute truth is personal, then our only chance of understanding is not to understand it like people try to understand things through particle accelerators or things of that nature. You have to ingratiate yourself to a person to be able to know them at all.
Yes. Mudhoyam nabijanati yogamaya samavrita. Krishna doesn't want to be seen by the gross materialists. They don't want to see him. He doesn't want to disclose himself to them. Yogamaya samavrita. I liked your point that we depersonalize in order to exploit. You get a garland. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We know that in wartime, this is the standard method. We depersonalize the enemy so that we can wipe him out and so on, and steal his stuff, his property. In so many ways, we depersonalize that which we want to exploit. And the impersonalist ultimately wants to exploit everything. He wants to become identical with the supreme truth. So that's an extension of the exploitive mentality. Yes. All right. Tulsi Priya.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. I was just wondering, based on Mukesh Prabhu's question and your response, I was thinking about the mercy of Krishna and the mercy of the devotees. And we say of the spiritual master, your mercy is all I am made of. And I was just wondering, sometimes devotees will use they'll say, something happens, they'll say, oh, Krishna's mercy. And I'm just wondering, is that mercy, is it really manifest? I'm just wondering how Krishna's mercy is manifest in any way other than the devotee's mercy, because it seems like it's sort of ephemeral.
Everything's Krishna's mercy. You're breathing, you've got air, you've got light, you've got water. That's Krishna's mercy. The devotees haven't supplied that. Krishna supplied that directly or through his material energy. So that's Krishna's mercy. We want to forget Krishna. Krishna helps us. That's called Krishna's mercy. Maya, another meaning of Maya is mercy. But the mercy to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, that's what the devotee is providing. Other kinds of mercy can be provided, those who want mukti, siddhi. These are all mercy of the Lord, but that's not what the devotee supplies. The devotee supplies something higher than all of that. He supplies pure devotional service.
May I follow up on that?
Mm-hmm.
So you said that Krishna doesn't give his mercy or he doesn't give pure devotional service so easily, but it seems that the devotees, they do their best to give it to everyone. And so is that sort of a way of overriding Krishna's not giving it so easily, or is it a way that Krishna gives it without directly giving it?
Yeah, the devotees don't override Krishna. They know Krishna's desire and they serve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Panchatattva. The impersonalist denies God's individuality, his personhood, his own individuality, as well as that of others. Talk about a formula for potential exploitation. Taking a Kendra's point, the impersonalist is depersonalizing everyone. Yeah, he depersonalizes God. God's not a person, you're not a person, I'm not a person. Nothing is personal. So, depersonalizing all of existence. And it's a terribly bleak outcome. There was, well, I don't need to get into that. Any other points or questions? Okay. Kendra says, Mukesh says, the mercy of the Lord is carried through parampara. So until and unless one is qualified to carry that mercy forward, the Lord does not give it. Is this correct understanding? No. Not that one has to be qualified to push it forward. First, one may be unqualified. That's called causeless mercy. One doesn't have the qualifications. Still, Krishna gives mercy. Or he may say, all right, you're not going to preach, but I'll give you mercy for yourself. Or he may say, you're not qualified to preach, but I'll give you the qualification. Not that you're qualified to preach, so I'll give you mercy. You're not qualified, so I'll give you mercy. Then you'll be qualified. Kendra says, but impersonalists do not like to be treated impersonally. Yeah. Right. Where I think we can continue. Nirikshitas tasya yaya vashesha siddheshara bishtuta siddhamargaha akarnayan patra ratendra pakshar ucharitam stomam udhirna sama. While the sage stood looking on, the Lord left by the pathway leading to Vaikuntha, a path extolled by all great liberated souls. The sage stood listening as the hymns forming the basis of the Samaveda were vibrated by the flapping wings of the Lord's carrier, Garuda. I just wanted to see one quick thing here. Let's see if I can find this. No, I'm not going to try to do that. Okay, purport. In the Vedic literature, it is stated that the two wings of the transcendental bird, Garuda, who carries the Lord everywhere, are two divisions of the Samaveda, known as Brihat and Ratantara. Garuda works as the carrier of the Lord. Therefore, he is considered the transcendental prince of all carriers. With his two wings, Garuda begins to vibrate the Samaveda, which is chanted by great sages to pacify the Lord. The Lord is worshipped by Brahma, by Lord Shiva, by Garuda, and other demigods with selected poems. And the great sages worship him with the hymns of Vedic literatures, such as the Upanishads and Samaveda. These Samaveda utterances are automatically heard by the devotee when another great devotee of the Lord, Garuda, flaps his wings. It is clearly stated here that the sage Kardama began to look to the path by which the Lord was being carried to Vaikuntha. It is thus confirmed that the Lord descends from his abode, Vaikuntha, in the spiritual sky and is carried by Garuda. The path which leads to Vaikuntha is not worshipped by the ordinary class of transcendentalists. Only those who are already liberated from material bondage can become devotees of the Lord. Those who are not liberated from material bondage cannot understand transcendental devotional service. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated, Yatatam api siddhanam. There are many persons who are trying to attain perfection by striving for liberation from material bondage, and those who are actually liberated are called Brahmabhuta or Siddha. Only the Siddhas, or persons liberated from material bondage, can become devotees. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who is engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service is already liberated from the influence of the modes of material nature. Mam chayobhya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati chaitan brahma bhuyaya gopate. Here it is also confirmed that the path of devotional service is worshipped by liberated persons, not the conditioned souls. The conditioned soul cannot understand the devotional service of the Lord. Kardama Muni was a liberated soul who saw the Supreme Lord in person, face to face. there's no doubt that he was liberated, and thus he could see Garuda carrying the Lord on the way to Vaikuntha, and hear the flapping of his wings, vibrating the sound of Hare Krishna, the essence of the Samaveda. I'm struck by the scene here. The sage is meditating under a tree on the bank of the Saraswati, Bindu Sarovara. And after thousands of years of meditation, the Lord has appeared riding on the back of Garuda. Well, what a scene. You're in the forest and you get to see the personality of Godhead descending on Garuda. And then you also get to hear the transcendental sound vibration. You know, we have our planes, and you hear a plane coming in with its sort of obnoxious sound. Or in Radhadesh, the Air Force does exercises now and then near the castle, and you hear the sort of tearing sound of the jets, fighter jets. It's a frightening kind of sound, disturbing kind of sound. But here, the sage is in the forest, and he's hearing the sound of the Vedic hymns, because Garuda's wings emanate that transcendental sound. Emanate the transcendental sound. So we have some friends nearby. So speaking of sounds, imagine the scene, Cardinal Muni sitting there and he's seeing Garuda, he's seeing the Lord sitting on Garuda, he's hearing Hare Krishna. Wow, Hare Krishna. Shai, come on. And now having, and then the Lord speaks with him, and now the Lord is departing on the pathway back to Vaikuntha Loka. So it's such a, and again, Cardinal Muni is hearing the transcendental vibration of the Vedic hymns of the Samaveda. So how fortunate and how exalted Cardinal Muni is that first of all, the Lord is taking interest in him. Suck on this. The Lord is taking interest in him and personally coming to see him. And the Lord, more than that, will appear from him in the form of Kapiladev. So these are all exalted dealings of the Lord and his devotees. Mukesh says, only the siddhas, or persons liberated from material bondage, can become devotees, Brahmabhuta. This stage is very beginning or preliminary. By special mercy of Prabhupada, everyone is getting this divine treasure. Yes. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvata. Krishna says that of millions, hardly anyone can attain perfection, and out of so many of them, hardly anyone can understand him. Prabhupada asked in a lecture in Los Angeles, does that mean that this Krishna consciousness movement is bogus? Because so many people are coming. But Prabhupada said, no, it's the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as you rightly say, it's the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And Praveen says that Bindu Sarovara is concrete town today with tourists. Where's Bindu Sarovara? Concrete. In Gujarat. Okay. Bindu Sarovara.
Where in Gujarat?
Where in Gujarat? They're asking. Patan.
Patan.
Yeah.
Patan,
Yeah, it is
Bhagavati
concrete,
says.
no? True.
It's all concrete, huh?
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Mm.
So this is what we do with such holy places. We put down concrete, and as Kendra pointed out, we try to exploit. Yes, Kendra Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Just as you were talking about how the Bindu Sarovara has transformed, I was thinking how classy it is that the Lord appears on the back of Garuda and departs in the same way. He could do anything he likes, but by his arrangement and by the unlimited varieties of desires of devotees to serve him, he just so happens to have this fantastic winged carrier that takes him wherever he wants to go and vibrates the Sama and Ratantara Vedas with his wings. It's just so very, I don't know another word for it, but classy. Even mundane birds, sometimes you can just watch them take off in flocks and think, how are they so synchronized? They can just silently land and tree all at the same time. And the planes that we make that we think are so impressive, they're loud and dangerous. I was reading the other day, there was an airport opening ceremony that was being held with great pomp. And part of the celebration was a fighter plane was going to fly very low by the airport in salute or something. And the plane was going so fast that it broke the sound barrier, and this gigantic sonic boom blew out all the windows in the airport on the day of its opening. Not at all like Garuda's wings.
No. How exalted Garuda is that he's able to have that service of carrying Garuda. He carries Satyabhama also when they go to the heavenly planets, Krishna and Satyabhama. Thank you.
Right, I have one question.
Yes.
So, you said so many are in a Krishna conscious, so many people are there. So how about the people, like we are approaching to so many people, but so many still doesn't come or doesn't believe? What is the significance on that? Like,
It's so many, we're approaching people, but so many people don't come,
don't come, don't believe even, don't agree.
don't believe.
And still they're so jealous.
They're jealous. Yeah, that's significance is Mama Maya Duratraya. Maya is very powerful, and people are enchanted by the Prakritim Mohinim Shraddha. They take shelter of the enchanting material energy. It's described that when Gop Kumar was traveling through the layers of the universe, each layer had a presiding deity, the fire layer, the earth layer. Then he got to the layer of the total material energy, and the Maya was the presiding deity, and she said, whatever you want. And it was so attractive. It's described that the atmosphere there was like a deepish blue, like Krishna's color, and material energy was so, Devi Maya was so attractive. And Gokumar was like, whoa, it's almost enchanted and entrapped just by the beauty of the total material energy. The total material energy, which includes everything. Whatever you want, you can get from the total material energy. But by the grace of the Lord, he escaped. Ananta Shesh says people turn away because taking up devotional service interferes with one's enjoyment, efforts, and plan. Yes, we've quoted many times that John Milton, where in Paradise Lost, where Satan says, better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. It's exactly the mentality. All right, anything else? Let's take a look at this verse and see if we can do it. Yes, we can. Ata samprashtite shukle kardamo bhagavan rishihi aste sma bindu sadasi tam kalam pratipalayan. Then, after the departure of the Lord, the worshipful sage Kardama stayed on the bank of Bindu Sarovara, awaiting the time of which the Lord had spoken. The Lord had said in 2 days, the Manu will come to offer you his daughter. So the sage Pratipalayan, he just was waiting for that time. Atas samprashtite shukle. When the Lord is gone, and Kardama Muni's back in the forest. Same forest, not that he left. But now the Lord is gone, everything's quiet again. So he's going to wait on the bank of Bindu Sarovara. All right, I think we can stop here. Let me just make a note where we are. Good. And who's leading our closing kirtan today?
Balaram Prabhu.
Balaram, you want to lead kirtan?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Keval Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna. No, Radhe Radhe, sorry.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Mahesh Pandit Prabhu. We have to get together. I'm in Parsippany, so we're close.
Yes, Maharaj. I got the message.
Okay, we'll see what we're going to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Start.
Yes.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Prabhupada, Bonaman Sapadi Prad, Kacharya Shto, Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sriva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Govinath, Sham Kun Radha Kunikiri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for sharing your time with us. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayadvaita Maharaj ki jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
And hope everyone can join us tomorrow for Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Same time, same channel. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.